Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope you guys are doing well. To begin with, I am Ni Aimi Bashirah Ni Muhammad Rizwan, a final year candidate from the Department of Visual Culture Studies, Faculty of Art and Design UiTM Puncak Alam. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to our course advisor, Dr. Wahiza Abdul Wahid, for her guidance in helping me and my classmates to complete our final project. For your information, this is a final group project for an introduction to museum studies. This course requires me and my friends to explore 15 museums from 15 different states and territories in Malaysia. You must be wondering what is so interesting and special about museums in Malaysia. Well, in this video, we will show you the uniqueness of museums around Malaysia that definitely will blow your mind. Sounds interesting, isn't it? But before that, I want to share some interesting facts about museum. According to the International Council of Museums (ICOM), a museum is a non-profit permanent institution in the service of society and its development. It is open to the public, which acquires, conserves, researches, communicates and exhibits the tangible and intangible heritage of humanity and its environment for the purposes of education, study and enjoyment. It is also known as an institution that brought the environment for educational, scientific and recreational purposes. Currently, there are about 240 museums around Malaysia, with Kuala Lumpur as the leading state, with 25 museums, followed by Malacca with 23 museums. From a total of 240 museums in Malaysia, 56 museums are housed in buildings that are at least 50 years old and indeed qualified as heritage buildings. Most of them were built during the colonial period or before Malaysian Independence Day in 1957. Unfortunately, Malaysia is currently having the Movement Control Order (MCO) because we are still facing the COVID-19 pandemic. For that reason, all museums in Malaysia are advised to close temporarily until the situation returns to normal. This makes it difficult for the local community as well as foreign tourists to visit, which limits them to explore and learn about the interesting history and heritage that are preserved in these museums. But don't worry everyone, today we will take you on tour around Malaysia where we will see and explore all the magnificent museums in each state and territory. Without any further ado, let's get started with the first museums in Federal Territory of Labuan. Sit back and enjoy!
That's an interesting introduction, Aimi. Hello everyone. I hope all of you will stay safe and in good conditions. Name given is Ubong Anak Joseph. Today, I want to take all of you to state of Labuan. Are you interested to have a look at Labuan Museum? Labuan is a federal territory of Malaysia. The territory includes Labuan Island and 6 smaller islands off the coast of state of Sabah and East Malaysia. Labuan capital is Victoria and is best known as an offshore financial store offering financial and business service since 1990. It is also a tourist destination for people traveling Sabah, nearby Bruneians and scuba divers. Labuan Museum shows culture of Labuan people, shows as ethnic and origin through the journey in impressive history. Labuan Museum is located on Jalan Dewan in front of Labuan Square. What is interesting and special about the museum? So, let us all explore this together. Just across Labuan Museum is History Square. There are 4 flames of forest, Butia, Monisphema, which are trees that stand on each of square corners. The trees were planted by Malay, Chinese, Indians, European communities in 1933 to mark coronations of second Queen Elizabeth. Houses in a pre-war colonial building, Labuan Museum provides a detailed insight into culture and history of the island. The ground floor features exhibit a type visitor on an interesting journey from prehistoric era to Brunei Sultan, British colonial days, Declaration of Independence and establishment of Labuan as a federal territory. Meanwhile, Top Law showcases culture and tradition of the island main communities, namely Brunei Malays, Kadazan Dusus, Indian, Sikhs, Kadayas and Chinese. Let's move to collection of the museums. Labuan Museum contains over 700 collections. Among most valuable historical artifact houses here are stone queen from Neolithic period found in Pulau Burong, wartime weaponry including anti-submarine weapons such as deep charges used by Allied forces to combat Japanese Navy during World War II, original pen, chair and table used by Prime Minister of Malaysia and Sabah Chief Minister during declarations of Labuan as a federal territory in 1984, and a collection of currency stamps of Labuan used during colonial era which were more than a century years old. That's cover everything I want to share about Labuan museums. Everyone, especially younger generation, should appreciate and learn about the state history. And the best way is by visiting the museums. Labuan Museum is very interesting, right? Do you want to learn more? Why not, right? Now, let's explore another land which is Sabah. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Azmalis binti Basri. Let's move on to Sabah. I'm going to take you to explore Sabah State Museum. Sabah is a state that occupies the northern part of Borneo Island. It is also the second largest state in Malaysia. Sabah has some interesting places, especially Sabah State Museum. This museum is one of the most unique museums in Sabah particularly. It does not only contain historical artifacts but also consists of mini zoo, cultural village and botanical garden in one complex. Sabah State Museum is located at Bukit Istana Lama in Kota Kinabalu. The building complex was built in 1985 and cover an area of 43 acres. Sabah Museum is divided into 4 parts. The first attraction that will amaze you is definitely the bright whale board, which is almost 20 meters long. It is located in the exhibition stage as soon as you enter the main building. Another attraction is in the main building. It offers cerebral galleries for its exhibition space. Galleries you can find are such as zoology, weapon, custom and culture, fashion as well as socio-economic activities. For example, in the head hunting gallery, you will see under the roof a collection of 100 years old real human skull tied up together with silat levers. The sword and weapon used by Kadazan Dusun and Murut people to cut off people's head. Today, the heart hunting tradition has long gone. Through the heart hunting gallery of Sabah Museum, you will be brought back to their world to understand why and how they did it. Apart from that, there is also a science and education center which also offer technological revolution in Sabah. The most eye-catching in this museum is the retro train carriage, which were once used to travel from Jesselton, which is the old name of Kota Kinabalu, to Tenem. Visitors could see among the display here are antique cars. Next, a culture village that is no less impressive. Visitors have to go down the street on the outside of the main building. It is located in the middle of the forest. The culture village promises an aesthetic and authentic experience. Here, there are no less than 10 houses built according to the main ethnic group of Sabah. Among the ethnic houses on display are the Bongi, Chinese, Lotut, and the various other ethnic houses in Sabah. In addition, there is a corner set aside of each house for the sale of souvenirs of such ethnic craft. Due to the pandemic, this museum is closed. However, the museum complex is open to visitors from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the entrance fee for Malaysian citizens is 2 ringgit, while the foreigner tourist is 50 ringgit. The must-visit destination if going to Sabah is the Sabah State Museum. It is very interesting to find out more about the uniqueness of the community in Sabah from various aspects. Therefore, let's begin your discovery of Sabah at Sabah State Museum and feel the experience. Now, we will listen to my friend on his explanation about museum in Sarawak. Thank you.
From the land below the wind of Sabah to the land of hornbills in Sarawak, Awangku Muhammad Hafizuddin bin Awangku Tahi is my name. I want to share some interesting fact about museum in Sarawak. Sarawak is a state which has a diverse range of race and history of its own. One of the most exciting attractions in Sarawak is the museum. A visit to a museum can be both entertaining and educational at the same time. There are 12 museums in Sarawak. For example, Sarawak Islamic Heritage Museum, Sarawak Chinese History Museum, Borneo Culture Museum, and others. Sarawak Museum is located at Jalan Tun Abang Haji Obeng in Taman Budaya Kuching. Charles Brooke Rajatu founded Sarawak Museum in 1860 with the help of the naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace. This museum is slowly growing to maintain the pride, identity, and tradition of indigenous, the people of Sarawak. Sarawak Museum currently has 12 museums spread across the state of Sarawak. But today, I will focus on the new Sarawak Pride Museum, which has enough information to cover the entire history of Sarawak. Borneo Culture Museum is the newest landmark and cultural institution that will be the pride of Sarawak. Worth Rm 308 million. This project was led by Datuk Sri Arjon Laukasian, Sarawak's first and renowned architect who has undertaken major projects. The Sarawak Borneo Culture Floor is 31,000 square meters and known as the second largest museum in Southeast Asia. Plus, this world-class museum aims to be the main center for the Borneo Heritage Collection by 2030. Borneo Culture Museum distinctive golden arcade roof complement Sarawak State Legislative Assembly architecture across the Sarawak River. The museum architecture incorporates historical and cultural influences, inspired by Sarawak traditional rotten mat and songket motif. The stacked seal halted panel, meanwhile, panel wall clothing is an abstract interpretation of Sarawak weaving, alluding to the role of the museum as guardian of the state cultural heritage. The facade, formed in the center of the evolution by glass panel, allow natural light to penetrate indoor gallery space and brighten public circulation area. Borneo Culture Museum can cover a diverse collection of items, including archaeology, basketry, decorative art, textile, ritual, Islamic art, metalwork, longhouse model, Chinese art, and modern art. So by going to the Sarawak Museum, which has various collection and exciting history, the Sarawak Borneo Culture Museum can tell in great detail about Borneo and the Sarawak history. The Borneo Culture Museum building comprises exhibition gallery space on level 2 until 5, flanked on both wings by a central atrium, commercial space, a cafe, function room, and auditorium space are located on level 1, supporting and complementing to the temporary exhibition gallery. With this museum, you can explore the history of the entire Borneo archipelago by just going to the Sarawak Museum only. Borneo Culture Museum offers visitors a window into the history, cultural and the way of life of people in the place in Sarawak. Traditionally, it plays a role in inquiring, conserving, communication, and exhibiting artifacts from the past. For those who have zero knowledge of their visit, the Borneo Culture Museum is where one clears their concern and question about one custom and a way of life in that geographical location in Sarawak. So please guys, visit this museum. You will love it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Sharifah Atikah binti Syed Ayub. I would like to share with you about one of the most interesting museum in Johor. But let me start by sharing with you some interesting info related to Johor. Johor is a state located in the south of Malaysia, which has the largest population in Malaysia. Johor is also historically significant because its culture and heritage is well preserved until now. There are also many interesting museums in Johor that symbolize the history and traditional culture, such as the Mersing Museum, Kota Johor Lama Museum, Royal Abu Bakar Museum, and many others. Different from other museums, the Johor Fugue Museum is outstanding because the building is hundreds of years old. It has been here for a long time and it has its own fascinating history. Johor Fugue Museum was known only as the remaining of an old building left by the late Datuk Jaafar Muhammad, the first Chief Minister of Johor. But after the building was reintroduced to the general public due to the uniqueness of this old building, Johor Fugue Museum has received many visitors both from local and even foreign communities. The building was the official residence of Datuk Jaafar Muhammad in 1895. The building of Johor Fugue Museum was built in 1983 to 1896 on the land of Bukit Senyum, where it is 100 acres wide. It is believed that this hill was named as Bukit Senyum Allahyarham Datuk Jaafar because the late Sultan Abu Bakar smiled during his approval of the construction of this building. Allahyarham Datuk Jaafar got his inspiration for this building when he visited England and saw how it held and Matlock Mansion. Besides, there is something that can make visitors excited and scared when they visit this place, which is the mural art on the building wall. It was said to be painted by Indian painter using animal's blood from the Japanese and British era. However, due to the age of this building that is over 100 years, the mural painting start to fall off from the wall. Other than that, the construction of this building is impressive because according to Puan Munira, the modern architect who studies on how this building can remain strong until now, it is said that this building was built without any peeling. It is definitely an interesting and exclusive building. Johor Fugue Museum also has a dome. The dome is used as a Johor mark and it can be seen from the Strait of Johor due to its high location. Beneath this dome lies a star shape and the mirror around this dome, which can be seen as a partial moon if viewed from a different angle. It shows the architectural creativity from the past. The star and moon are said to symbolize Johor. Now the building is turned into a museum, which located all the information and historical figure of Johor. The museum displays all the pictures of the Chief Minister of Johor over time and information such as name and period of their service. There is also the history of the Sultan of Johor, historical remains such as coconut grater that has of various of unique shape, home decor, official document, cakul iron, copper keeper and typewriter. The history of this 121 years old building is very unique because it shows the creativity of former people that built this building. Therefore, this building has the potential to become a national treasure that can be kept to prove the success of the Malay from the past. There are no entrance fee to enter this museum, but due to the country experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic, the museum has been temporarily closed. And in addition, other information regarding Video Museum can be found at Yayasan Warisan Johor. Let's us together visit this museum, not only for the purpose to learn the history, but also to view the great architecture done by the community from the past. So now, let's carry on and see what we have in Malacca City. Enjoy, you guys!
Now it is my turn to bring you the excitement in Malacca. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hi viewers, I am Siti Norzila Kaviti Musri. Let me share with you guys about the museum in Malacca. Malacca is one of the oldest cities and the third smallest state which reside in the southwest of Malaysia. It is one of the most famous destinations in Malaysia and has been revived as a top peak holiday getaway due to its many historic attractions. Home of a well-known Nyonya cuisines, it is a popular destination for tourists who want to catch a glimpse of Malaysia's unique heritage. Let's have a look at one of the most famous museums in the city of Malacca, which is the Museum of Baba Nyonya Heritage. A few facts about Baba and Nyonya is that the Baba Nyonya or Peranakan Chinese are the descendants of Chinese traders who migrated to the British trade settlements of Malacca and then adopted some of the local Malay customs into their culture. They are known for their unique furniture, style of clothing, marriage customs, and food. It is estimated that there are 500,000 Peranakan Chinese still living in Malaysia. Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum is a private museum in the Chinatown area of Malacca. It is located in Jalan Tun Tang Cheng Lok, or better known as Millionaires Road. The Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum is actually a row of residential houses built by the Dutch who were later purchased by rich Peranakan who married local Malay people after the fall of Malacca. The house is a combination of three terrace lots that were acquired by the Chan family in 1861. Before it became a museum for people to visit, 4 generations have lived in the house before. This museum is still currently managed by the family, and their vision is to bridge communities to Malaysia's history, Peranakan identity, and culture. Now, let's have a look at what this museum has to offer. The museum displays the richness of the culture of the Peranakan Chinese through the artifacts purchased by the Baba Chan Cheng Siu, which received influence from the Dutch, Portuguese, Malay, and colonial. The house consists of a reception hall, a kitchen, and an ancestral hall. It features a set of stairs made of solid cengak wood, and its kitchen is filled with special ancient utensils used for making ice cream. With Victorian and Dutch style Chinese hardwood furniture, this Peranakan townhouse is arranged to look like a typical 19th century Baba Nyonya residence. It also has an open courtyard inside the house, which is common in most Baba Nyonya homes. Other than that, they also have a cafe, which is located next to the museum home and serve typical Baba Nyonya dishes including paiti, laksa, and otak-otak. If you're in Jogger Street, Malacca, check out the Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum. It is open every day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Unfortunately, the museum is temporarily closed in compliance with the movement control order in Malaysia. I personally recommend you to pay a visit to this Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum since it has a unique historical value that we can learn, and indirectly it shows the living environments of Baba and Nyonya as back then. It is a really great place for us to learn about Chinese Malay culture and traditions. Now, let's have a tour to the next state, which is Negeri Sembilan, and find out more about one of their notable museums.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. I am Dalila Adina Bida Abdul Muiz and I am very pleased to share with you guys about Negeri Sembilan State Museum. Introducing the Negeri Sembilan's heritage and culture, the first thing that comes to mind will be their unique adat property, which can never be found in any other state in Malaysia. There are also several museums in Negeri Sembilan such as Dukuk Museum, Adat Museum, Rembang Museum and many more. So, in order to celebrate the uniqueness of adat property from Negeri Sembilan, let's have a look at Negeri Sembilan State Museum. Negeri Sembilan State Museum was established in 1953 when the 8th Yang Tuan, Tuanku Abdul Rahman gave permission for the Istana Ampang Tinggi Kuala Pilah to be moved to Taman Bunga in Jalan Datuk Hamzah, Seremban and turned into a state museum. Due to the inadequacy of the previous location, the State Museum was relocated to Taman Seni Budaya Complex on Jalan Sungai Ujong in 1984. Enactment number 5 on 1956 established the committee with the state government as a chairman and 7 committee members. This enactment was created in response to the designation of Istana Ampang Tinggi as the State Museum pada 8th Yang di-Pertuan Besar of Negeri Sembilan. Negeri Sembilan State Museum is a complex that consists of 3 buildings, which are Teratak Perpati and Rumah Negeri Sembilan. Teratak Perpati is the complex main building. It is renovated and restored as a memorial to celebrate Minangkabau's heritage and as a symbol of the state architecture. In Malaysia, Negeri Sembilan is the only state that is known for the stronghold of adat property. There are many artifacts as well as the culture of the people of Negeri Sembilan in the past, particularly in terms of origin, government lineage and evolution. Negeri Sembilan State Museum is open daily from 10 am to 6 pm with free entrance. Inside the main building, there are informative sections such as philately and stamp gallery, historical exhibition, handicraft exhibition and a video show screening. Among the objects on display are electrics, royal silver kitchenware, antique weaponry collection, similar community hunting tools and many more. My absolute favourite is Istana Ampang Tinggi. It was built by the 5th Yang di-Pertuan Besar Negeri Sembilan Yang Tuan Ulin, who governed from 1861 to 1869 as a present to his daughter Tunku Shindai when she married Tunku Mudaci, the son of the 4th Yang Tuan Radin. Istana Ampang Tinggi has an extraordinary amount of bell-carved panel as well as a pair of massive sliding doors that are unique and cannot be found anywhere in Peninsular Malaysia. The grandeur of the palace may be observed in the very exquisite wood carving along the wall, as well as the Quran carving on the walls inside the palace. In 1994, it was once exhibited in England as an example of Malay architecture. Minangkabau culture is reflected in the unique carved artwork seen on the walls, windows and stairs. Rumah Negeri Sembilan was formerly known as Rumah Undang. Tengku Said Ismail was the owner of this house, which was constructed in 1898 in Kampung Air Garam, Imambau. The house was built by Minangkabau craftsmen named Haji Shahabuddin and Kamruddin. It was transferred to its current location in the 1980s and has been designated as a historical building by the state government. There are also few historical structures that can be seen within the museum's compound, such as old steam engine train, megalithic road replica, the traditional boat, and a few cannons that were commonly used during the war in the past. I recommend visiting the Negeri Sembilan State Museum due to the easy access, which is located right on the side of Plus Highway and only a few hundred meters from the Seremban Toll, with huge parking spaces as well as the escape area, which is a chocolate shop located at the complex compound, making the location appealing to both children and students. So, do pay a visit to this wonderful museum in the heart of Negeri Sembilan. The architectural work are undoubtedly a must-see and it is worth a visit, especially for kids, students and family who want to learn more about Negeri Sembilan heritage. Now that you are aware of the exciting thing waiting for you at Negeri Sembilan State Museum, why don't you all stay and join us to explore the next museum destination in Selangor?
Hey, let's explore the next museum destination with me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello everyone. Noor Amira Shabenurizam is my name and I'm taking you all to explore a museum in Selangor. Selangor Darul Ehsan is located in the center part of the west coast peninsula Malaysia and it is bordered by Perak to the north, Pahang to the east and Negeri Sembilan to the south. There are several opinions on the origin of the name Selangor, but history proves that it was taken in conjunction with the name of the Selangor River, which flows into the Strait of Malacca through the settlement area now known as Kuala Selangor, namely the Sultan Alam Shah Museum. I choose this museum because it gets a lot of visitors before the pandemic, of course. And this museum has almost 4,000 artifacts housed in 5 exhibition spaces. The museum has an area approximately 135,000 square feet and is located at Persiaran Bandaraya, Section 14, Shah Alam, Selangor. Sultan Alam Shah Museum is the main symbol of cultural heritage development in Selangor. Historically, the museum was established in 1974 and was named Sultan Hishamuddin Alam Shah, the 7th Sultan Selangor. Sultan Alam Shah Museum has 4 galleries subdivision consisting of History Gallery, Culture Gallery, Islamic Gallery, and Natural History Gallery. Do you wish to know the functions of the gallery? The History Gallery shows how old people live, the tools they use, and even the clothes they wore. This helps remind the current generation of how their ancestors once lived and learn to appreciate the heritage they have. Culture Gallery also shows the costume of the Malays in the state. It shows in the detail the rituals that are being performed in connection with the birth, marriage, and death of people. Musical instruments of display here include gendang sembilan and cempuling. The Islamic Gallery shows the history of Islam in Selangor. Various artifacts covering the Quran and other literature are on display here. The Natural History Gallery shows Selangor's natural heritage in the form of an open diorama. Diorama is a life-size display that represents a scene from the nature or a historical event using stuffed life, wax figures, or real objects. Among the dioramas on the displays is the famous Puncak crocodile or Puncak crocodile, which is the largest crocodile found in the Peninsula Malaysia. Sultan Alam Shah Museum opening hours are 9:30 AM to 5:30 PM on Tuesday to Sunday except Friday. The museum is closed on Mondays. There is no entrance fee to this museum. Good news, is it? Sadly, on 31 May 2021, the Sultan Alam Shah Museum had been closed to visitors due to the MCO till further announcement. However, museum officials can still provide cooperation regarding the information that is available. I hope Sultan Alam Shah Museum will continue to be the pride and heritage of Selangor in preserving the treasures. I know you will love this captivating museum in Selangor, so do come and visit once the museum is open.
Now, let's explore and learn about a museum in Pahang. Assalamualaikum and hi all. I am Nur Sabrina binti Yusof. First of all, before we explore into the fascinating museum in Pahang, I would like to tell you guys a little bit about Pahang. Pahang is the largest state in Peninsular Malaysia and is blessed with its own large forests and majestic mountains. One of the most interesting and beautiful places in Pahang is Cameron Highlands. This is because Cameron Highlands is the most popular place for highland retreats in Malaysia. With its cool air and breathtaking landscape, Cameron Highlands attracts both locals and tourists to this wonderland. In Cameron Highlands, there is one museum that has become an attraction and recommended to be visited because it is famous for its collections of antiquities that are hard to find elsewhere, which is the Time Tunnel Museum. Let's find out more about this museum. Located in Bincang, Cameron Highlands, the Time Tunnel Museum is Malaysia's first memorabilia museum. It is filled with collectibles and memorabilia showcasing what life was like in Malaysia during the pre-war years. All of these items are in the private collection of a Cameron local named C. Kok Chan. After years of collecting, Mr. C had accumulated these amazing collections and decided to open the Time Tunnel Museum to share his treasure trove with the public. This museum exhibits over 4,000 objects and photographs in 8 galleries. The Time Tunnel Museum is open daily from 9 AM to 6 PM. But now, the Time Turner Museum is temporarily closed due to the movement control order. Let's see what are the collections at the Time Turner Museum. Gallery 1 displays collections about the Aboriginal. This section compares the lifestyles of the local native who live in Cameron Highlands before the arrival of outsiders. Their tools, traps, and handicrafts are displayed on the floor and the walls. Gallery 2 is an old kopitiam which shows the interior and artistic wares of a traditional or style coffee shop. There is also Gallery 3, which is the barber shop. It comes with mirrors, straight razors, scissors, and others. This area was a mock-up model of a traditional barber shop back in the early days. You will also see the children's corner in Gallery 4. This section will surely bring back memories for those who lived during those times, as it contains things that were used by children at the time. Gallery 5 is next. This gallery displays a mobile food stall that includes an odd mix of kitchen kerosene, a bicycle-mounted noodle stall, complete with utensils and ingredients on display. Another gallery is Gallery 6, which displays the advertising materials collection section amassed by Mr. C over the years, such as all posters, advertisements, and various items bearing logos. Jim Thompson's corner is in Gallery 7. Jim Thompson and the Sweet King of Thailand, who helped to revitalize the sweet industry in Thailand. Located in the middle of the museum, this section exhibits the story of Jim Thompson and his baffling disappearance in Cameron Highlands. Finally, there is this Gallery 8, the old photo section. This gallery shows black and white photos from the 1950s and the 1960s that provide a nostalgic reminder of what Cameron Highlands used to be like. These are just a few of the collections that are in the museum. I am sure that visitors who come to this museum must have certain items that interest them. For those who were born between the 1950s and the 1980s especially, they will enjoy seeing so many of the family items that are hard to find now. So, if you are into antiquities and new to Cameron Highlands, the Time Turner Museum is one of the must-visit places because you can learn a lot about Cameron Highlands and many items from the past. So come over, you will enjoy it. Now, let's see what we have in Terengganu and find out about one of the famous and interesting museums there.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh everybody. I am Hairul Ashraf bin Muhammad from Terengganu. Would like to explore a must-visit museum in Terengganu? There are several museums in this state, but there is this one outstanding and remarkable museum that will astound anyone on the first sight, and it definitely astounded me. The museum that I'm talking about is the Terengganu State Museum. This museum was established in 1976 at Kampung Losong. Terengganu Museum is the largest museum in Terengganu with a massive floor area of over 75,000 square meters spread over 4 interconnected buildings. The buildings of the museum are not that old, and the walls are made of concrete, but their delicate craftsmanship and sweeping pitched roof give the museum a very imposing look. The whole museum is raised on concrete stilt above landscape gardens and ponds. Do not miss to visit the famous Batu Bersurat located at the main entrance. It is a good point to start off your tour in the museum too. The operating hours of the museum is on Saturday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. On Friday, it opens from 9 a.m. to 12 noon and from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. However, the museum is closed at present due to the pandemic. The ticket price for Malaysian adults is RM5 Malaysia, RM2 Malaysia for children, and RM1 Malaysia for school students in uniform. The fees are different for foreigners. It is RM50 Malaysia for adults and RM10 Malaysia for children. Upon entering the museum, the displays are arranged accordingly, and there are 9 galleries such as Natural History Gallery, Textile Gallery, Royal Gallery, Craft Gallery, Petroleum Gallery, Islamic Gallery, Historical Gallery, Seafaring and Trade Gallery, and the last one, Fisheries and Marines Galleries. These galleries have a large number of collections and artifacts that will lure you to look for more. It is very useful if you are doing a research. There are other interesting facts about the Terengganu Museum. For your information, this museum is said to be the biggest museum complex in Southeast Asia with 4 main blocks. Besides having a maritime museum and 5 traditional houses, it was also built with a beautiful garden landscape resembling Terengganu's glory, which is rich in cultural history until today. For some visitors who do not like crowded places, I will recommend you that you avoid coming here during peak season, especially school holidays. Some parts of the building are not air conditioned, so if you cannot stand the heat, avoid coming here during the afternoon, given the weather is very hot at that time of the day. So guys, now you know which museum to visit after MCO ends. It is the Terengganu State Museum. Come visit Terengganu, everyone. Now let's travel to Kelantan, the neighboring state of Terengganu, to visit its amazing museum. Let's go.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi there all. Muhammad Izul Hamzi bin Kamarun is my name. I would like to share with you about one historical and fascinating museum in Kelantan. Kelantan is a state which very high respect in preserving culture and religion, which is why there are many museums with numerous artifacts and handicrafts well preserved for visiting. There are 9 museums in Kelantan and the Kelantan State Museum Corporation, which are Museum Negeri, Museum Adat Istiadat, Museum Diraja, Museum Kraftangan, Museum Islam, Museum Perang, Museum Fotografi, and Museum Wow. I am choosing one of the most visited museum in Kelantan, which is Kelantan Islamic Museum, or also known as Shura Hall or Balai Shura. I consider this as an interesting museum because it is a place where we can learn about the root of Islam in Kelantan. It is a good fact that you would probably like to know that Kelantan is a state also known as Serambi Mekah. This museum houses various artifacts, inscriptions, and documents about how Islam was introduced in Kelantan and how it became important element in everyday life until now. Let's go deeper into the background and the history of this unique old building. The building of this museum resembles the mosque like building. This place was originally the residence of the former Chief Minister or Menteri Besar Kelantan, Encik Hassan bin Muhammad Saleh, who served Kelantan from 1900s to 1920. The original building was built in 1902 with the highest quality of tropical hardwood species known locally as kayu cengar, and it featured Kelantan Malay house model around the end of 19th century and early 20th century. The building has been renovated and upgraded several times. The first renovation was in 1917 when its use was converted from residence to the official Islamic Religious and Malay Custom Office. Then in 1937, the Kelantan Islamic Council converted the building into the Islamic School Al-Madrasah Al-Muhammadiyah Al-Arabiyah, and again the building was renovated in 1962, 1991 and 2007. The major upgrade in 1991 was after the council vacated the building and it was converted into the Islamic Museum. Part of the wall featured the decorative carved panel in solid relief known as Janda Berhias, a method popular on the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. The roof has multi-tier pyramid structure known as Bumbung Limas Bungkus, and is covered with clay roof tile called Handap Penting Singhola. This museum is now located in Jalan Hospital in the heart of Kota Baru, KTYMM, Sultan Ismail Petra ini almarhum Sultan Yahya Petra launched the Kelantan Islamic Museum on 11 November 1991. Kelantan Islamic Museum serves as institution for collecting, researching, preserving and exhibiting the socio-cultural, historical heritage of the Muslim community. Among the exhibited collection here are artifacts, photographs, diagrams related to the history of the arrival of Islam to Kelantan Nusantara, Islamic religious figure, religious department, Kelantan Islamic Religious Council and various collections from Islamic countries. Currently, a replica of the pharaoh mummy and his coffin is on display on the top floor of the Islamic Museum. Until now, 350 collections have been exhibited in Kelantan Islamic Museum. The museum is open from Saturday to Thursday from 8:30 am to 4:45 pm. You may visit this museum after the MCO is lifted because it is currently closed. The entrance fee is RM2 for adults and RM1 for children. Kelantan Islamic Museum should definitely be in the list of the next place you should visit while you are in Kelantan. To experience and learn about the beauty of Islam in Kelantan and history behind it, come visit. You will learn lots.
Let's move to Perak Darul Rizwan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hi viewers. I am Nur Akida binti Omar from Kampang, Perak. Perak is the second largest state in Peninsula Malaysia and also one of the states in Federation of Malaya. Perak is enriched with historical treasures and artifacts. There are many museums in Perak, including Perak Museum, Archaeological Museum Lenggong, the Geological Museum, the Beruas Museum, and others that have become a tourist attraction. Do you know that one of the museums in Perak has discovered a Perak man aged 10,000 to 11,000 years old? You may be interested to see. Perak Museum has a wide variety of collection for all communities to enjoy its uniqueness. Perak Museum teaches the community to appreciate the richness of culture, natural resource, and the uniqueness of the country. Let's see what Perak Museum has to offer. Perak Museum is considerably one of the most interesting places to visit in Taipei. Perak Museum is the oldest and first museum built in Peninsula Malaysia in 1883 by Sir Hood Low. The museum is located in Taipei, Perak. If it is not due to a pandemic, this museum is open from Monday to Friday from 9 am until 6 pm. However, Perak Museum is closed on Saturdays, Sundays, and public holidays. The entrance fee for this museum is only RM2 for adults, free for children under 12 years old with school uniform, and RM5 for tourists. The architecture of Perak Museum has the influence of the Moorish community building in India combined with the neoclassical and Victorian architecture of Europe society. Perak Museum exhibits more than 8,000 collections consisting of zoology, geology, cultural items, archaeology, and nature in Perak. Among the collections of artifacts on display are animal species, pottery over 100 years old, cars, airplanes, traditional games, and more. Inside Perak Museum, there are 4 galleries. The first one is Gallery A, a temporary exhibition gallery based on the title and theme that has been set by Perak Museum. The next one is Gallery B for the nature gallery such as the copper crocodile skeleton and the longest python skeleton in the Asian country. Gallery C is the cultural exhibition gallery, and then Gallery D is the Aboriginal and Pottery gallery. Perak Museum also conducts outdoor
outdoor exhibition of British historical equipment for visitors such as the Long Jaffa Cannon, Perak Railway Carriage, Kubo Batu Purbakala, Saung Kapal and others. Besides, there is also a library in Perak Museum, which is one of the first libraries in Malaya. In conclusion, all citizens, especially youngsters, should visit the Perak Museum to learn about Perak heritage property. Hopefully, this selected museum can attract people to come to Perak State Museum. The community can also be able to add new knowledge about Perak heritage. Visit the museum, learning about the history and heritage of Perak will be more interesting. Now, have you heard about the part of the Orient, Penang? Let's see what we have there.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello everyone. My name is Nur Azlina binti Azami. Let us see what's there in Penang, guys. Penang is known as the Pearl of the Orient, one of the most touristic locations of Malaysia. The island is located in the northwest side of the peninsula Malaysia. Penang is particularly well known for its delicious local cuisine. It is known as Malaysia's food capital. On the island, there are numerous hotels and resorts, the majority of which are located in and around this town, as well as the villages of Batu Ferringhi and Tanjung Bunga. Apart from that, Penang is one of the few states in Malaysia where a big number of private museums grow, particularly in Jesta Heritage District. Penang State Museum, Penang Tantana Museum, Penang Peranakan Museum, Colonial Penang Museums, and others are among the private museums in the area. Let's explore this one particular museum, which I consider interesting in Penang, the Colonial Penang Museum. Interesting fact regarding this museum is that it will take the visitors back to the colonial era of Penang. This museum also gives some experience about the unique lifestyle of both British administrators and wealthy merchants. The Colonial Penang Museum is among the top places to visit while staying in Penang. Colonial Penang Museum is located at Jalan DS Ramanathan, Pulau Tikus. The admission fees for this museum is RM30 for adults and RM50 for children. The entrance fee is probably a little pricey, but I must tell you, it is worth visiting. All the extraordinary collection in this museum have been collected in over 50 years by the founder of the Colonial Penang Museum. The museum houses more than 1,000 colonial era artifacts and is now owned by the Ma family. Your visit to this museum is worth it, where you can see and appreciate the city's decades old and cherish the history with fantastic artifacts and historical relics, all of which are part of the rich local heritage. Some tips: while entering the museum, you will see that there are 22 pieces of Roman pillars in the middle of the compound. Poles cost a lot. Right behind the pole is a tree house that looks very creepy. This is probably due to the hanging white clothes that make it look a little creepy. The Colonial Museum is divided into several areas. There are furniture from the European culture and several Baba Nyonya furniture that represent Malaysia, which fits the culture between Malaysia and outside world. Every piece of furniture and decoration in the museum should be well appreciated. Every place outside the house is installed perfectly. This museum can be used as an educational instrument for students to promote the understanding and significance of our rich heritage. Even though the tour may last more than an hour, for those who love art, culture and heritage, it is definitely worth the money and time. Learning about Penang is awesome because this state is known as one of the best destinations in Malaysia. If you were to visit Penang, don't forget to go to the Colonial Penang Museum as well. So, that's about the Colonial Museum of Penang. Now, let us move to a fascinating museum in Kedah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello viewers, I'm Khadijah binti Muhammad. I'm so excited to share about the museum in Kedah. Museums in Kedah mostly tell the early history of the existence of the Kedah royal family. Kedah is known to be the oldest state in Malaysia. It can be seen in the history of the discovery of artifacts in Lembah Bujang, the establishment of several museums such as Pedi Museum, Bujang Valley Archaeology Museum, and the Royal Museum. These museums have some connection to this state history. Let's explore one of the museums in Kedah, which is Kedah State Museum. This is one of the best places for visitors to learn about the history of Kedah. Come and explore what Kedah State Museum has to offer. Kedah State Museum was established on the 3rd February 1957. Initially, the original name to Kedah State Museum was Kedah History Museum. In July 1964, Kedah History Museum changed its name to Kedah State Museum. Kedah State Museum was originally located on the ground floor of the Great Hall, Alostar, which was officiated by Yang Ahmad Berhormat Tan Sri Tunku Ismail bin Tunku Yahya, Chief Minister of Kedah at that time. Due to the increase in the number of collections, the museum was moved to its own building, which was located at Lebuh Raya Darul Aman, Pakar Bata on the 30 December 1961. The main attraction at Kedah State Museum is the golden flowers. Golden flowers symbolize the hope of offering or giving gifts to the king or the government. It's also used as gift exchange between the ruler of a country as the friendship. Replica of the golden flower is booked by the shape of the original tree golden flower that was awarded by the state of Kedah to the Emperor Siam in 1809 to 1906. It was first exhibited at the Kedah State Museum in 1968. In Kedah State Museum, there are 10 permanent exhibition galleries such as the Culture Hall, History Hall, Manuscript Hall, Textile Hall, Craft Art Halls, and Language and Literature Corner. It's a pandemic now and the museum is closed. However, for those who would like to pay a visit to this museum once it's open, there is no entrance fee to this museum. If you would like to visit the museum in future, which after the MCO is lifted, the visiting hours are every Tuesday to Sunday at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. except on Fridays. It's closed from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for Friday prayer. If you are interested in knowing the history of the origin in Kedah, Kedah State Museum is very worthwhile place for visiting. Look for the opportunity to visit the museum to increase knowledge and provide a very interesting experience. Now that you know about the Kedah State Museum, why not explore another museum in the last state of the northern tip of Malaysia, Perlis?
Hi there! Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, all viewers. My name is Nurul Nurain binti Mak Syukri and I will take you all to Perlis and visit an interesting museum here. But first, let me give you a brief overview of Perlis. Perlis is the smallest state in Malaysia and it is located in the northern part of the peninsula. Perlis is a popular tourist destination due to its proximity to Thailand and Kedah. Perlis is also well known for its Padang Besar. Although Perlis is the smallest state, it emphasizes on the state's art and heritage. There are a few museums in Perlis, but the most interesting one is definitely Kota Kaya Museum. A little bit about the background of the museum. Kota Kaya Museum is a center of information dissemination that exhibits and preserves the historical heritage of Perlis. This museum was constructed on an area which was previously the site of the former palace and residence of the Kedah and Perlis royal family. This evidence is based on the historical remains found in the vicinity such as the tomb of Sultan Yauddin Al-Mukarram Shah, Ibni Al-Marhum Sultan Muhyiddin Mansur Shah. This museum design was influenced by the architecture of Perlis traditional Malay houses with long roof. This museum was opened for visitors in September 2001. Kota Kaya Museum is divided into 6 galleries, namely the History Gallery, Archaeological Gallery, Weapons Gallery, Royal Gallery, Cultural Gallery, and Chief Minister of Perlis Gallery. The History Gallery tells the history of the state of Perlis, covering a series of history during the administration of Siam, Japan, British until independence. The archaeological gallery, on the other hand, display prehistory facts, the evidence of archaeological findings of the proto-history, prehistory, and historical periods in Perlis. The weapons gallery display a diverse collection of weapons such as daggers, machetes, swords, and local weapons equipment. Meanwhile, Gallery Diraja display the sequence of the rulers of Perlis from the first king until now. The next one is the Cultural Gallery, which features items relating to Perlis culture, such as musical instruments. The last gallery is the Chief Minister of Perlis Gallery, which display various collections that have been received by the Chief Minister of Perlis. What is more interesting is, after visiting the museum and relaxing in the landscape garden, visitors can also spend time visiting the royal tomb located next to the Kota Kaya Museum. It is known as the Tomb of Almarhum Kaya Pertama. It is the burial place of the 15th Sultan of Kedah who ruled Perlis. After seeing the significant historical relics, visitors can also explore the Kayang Cave near the tomb to add to the fun of being there. The cave, which is 50 meters away, is the path of the ancient palace guards to go up to the top of the hill for the purpose of guarding the control room. However, this cave has been buried due to safety factors. The Kota Kaya Museum, which is administered by the National Museum Department, is open every day except for Hari Raya Aidilfitri and Aidil-Adha, and there is no entrance fee. However, due to MCO, this museum temporarily closed. Kota Kaya Museum can definitely be described as a complete resource center to study the development of Perlis Intrakayangan. That's why you should visit this museum while you are in Perlis. You will certainly learn new things, appreciate the treasures, and enjoy the environment in this museum. So, that's all about this museum. I'm sure it will feel more interesting if you could experience visiting this museum yourself, because, as you know, seeing is believing. Thank you guys, and I appreciate the time you are taking to enjoy our review.
Hi, it's me again. I am sure my friends have shared some interesting information regarding museums in Malaysia. Everyone should be aware of the existence of these museums and visit them, as it is the main purpose of a museum, which is to educate people and provide opportunity for everyone to learn and explore the history and different cultural heritage. These places provide visitors with a glimpse into a world that is either long gone or can no longer exist for future generations. These places also allow them to experience things they would otherwise only see on paper or on screen. In today's modern technology, museums are working harder than ever to connect with the visitors by allowing them to take photographs and learn more about the exhibits through the websites. These initiatives are important in order to encourage people, especially young generation, to learn the history and heritage. Museums allow us to look into the past as well as the future to see where we came from and where we may be headed in the future. Without them, many important pieces of history would be lost or shielded from public view by private collectors. When it comes to visiting museums, it is important that we continue to support this institution, gain our knowledge, increase our desire to learn, and of course, appreciate our preserved cultural heritage and history. If you watch until the end, I believe that you are eager to visit these museums after the MCO. But don't forget to take your family with you when you come visit. I guess that's the end of this online tour. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. Stay safe always. Assalamualaikum.